Green MP Chloe Swarbrick was furious on Saturday.
We stand for a free Palestine.
She took the stage at a pro-Palestine rally after Labour MP Phil Twyford was shouted off the stage.
Folks!
And escorted out by police. It was then that Swarbrick and the Greens took over and she yelled this controversial phrase, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free!"
She essentially stoked the crowd and with this incendiary chant.
The rallying cry calls for a unified Palestine state, stretching from the River Jordan to the Mediterranean Sea, a return to the land that is now Israel. The slogan has been around for decades and appears in Palestinian folklore and revolutionary songs. But it is often labelled pro-Hamas, and many, like Juliet Moses, believe it's a call to destroy Israel.
It is offensive. It is widely understood to be a call for the annihilation of Israel and quite possibly...
The words widely understood is doing some pretty heavy lifting there. It is their perspective. I'm going to show you the two sides argument too, but the word widely understood, just so people are clear, is doing some heavy lifting. Like making it seem that it's a 90% assurity that that's what most people think.
Pat, quick question. As of right now, whose people are getting destroyed?
I think it's Israel's, isn't it? Because they're the ones who are suffering the worst impact at the moment. Am I wrong?
Not sure if that's accurate.
Okay, I'll check my sources and come back to you.
The Jewish people.
The phrase is also included in Hamas's manifesto. Moses wants answers from Swarbrick.
I think she should explain why she used it and what exactly she meant by using it and what her intention was.
Neither Chloe Swarbrick nor her boss Marama Davidson, who was there on Saturday, would do any explaining today. But the Greens did send through a statement, but it didn't address why Swarbrick used such an inflammatory chant.
Interesting turn of phrase by the New Zealand media, an inflammatory chant. Controversial. Inflammatory makes it seem like if you use this, you know it's going to inflame. I'm not sure whether that's accurate or not, but that's how the media is selling it.
But News Hub's learned of some disquiet about the remarks, with one Green insider telling us that Swarbrick undermined her calls for peace and justice by deliberately using such a charged chant. Amelia Wade.
So, Chewy, I've got quite an in-depth conversation from Al Jazeera to talk about this phrase, what it all means, but this is a little bit in your warehouse. You want to share any thoughts on it first of all?
So there's a bit of history to that that particular phrase, and there's one key takeaway there. Doesn't it rhyme so well in English? So I noticed David Seymour criticising Chloe for using a phrase that Hamas have apparently used. Hamas didn't come up with it.
No.
There are versions of it that go back to the PLO.
Yeah, 64. I've got all that history to share shortly.
But it is an English phrase.
Yeah.
It rhymes in English. It was created by activists that spoke English. There are different interpretations of it. I'm not going to poo-poo that. There are versions of it that you could go, well, they want the whole state of Palestine from the river to the sea. There are revisions of that are like, well, no, they want Palestinians to be free from the river to the sea and free of I was going to say almost apartheid state, the apartheid state that they live in. And I think that's not up for debate. If you can watch any sort of footage on how Palestinians, especially in the West Bank and in East Jerusalem, are treated, it is an apartheid state. I think when you look at what is going on in Gaza at the moment, it's beyond any sort of reciprocation. It has gone way beyond that. I noticed a story the other day that Israel blew up an ambulance and said, "Hey, look, it's because that they were transporting Hamas fighters or whatever." It doesn't matter. That's a war crime, and it has been a war crime for decades. In the Geneva Convention, you can't hit ambulances.